I bow.
My name is Clayton Brasher. This is speech number 4, Persuasive speech, and this is my audience. You've all heard of the college sports megastars, Shaquille O'Neal, Andrew Luck, and Johnny Football, but as popular as important these players are to their team, they do not receive any compensation of monetary value despite putting their bodies on the line for their team. Most people think that college athletes deserve to be paid for what they do on the field and court, but I think otherwise. College athletes are paid through the scholarships they are granted. However, revisions to these scholarships are necessary to ensure fair play. According to Alan Sack, a business professor at the University of New Haven, real scholarships that offer four-year grants are necessary for college athletes instead of a salary. Currently in place are single-year contracts that are dependent on an athlete's performance for the previous year. Oftentimes we catch ourselves thinking these teenagers and young adults on the field are superstars who deserve a salary like their professional counterparts, though we must value them first as students who should pass through school to get an education. Now, it's important for y'all to know about the condition of student athletes so that in the future everyone can be informed of the possibilities that exist when it comes to compensation for these players in the form of scholarships. According to Molly Bach of the University of San Marcos, Texas, according to Molly Bach of the University Star in San Marcos, Texas, student athletes are already getting paid essentially by way of massive scholarships. Many athletes agree that they do not have time to get a job and they should be paid by the university to have extra money to go out with friends and buy new clothes. She argues that many non-athlete students find themselves in similar situations but are scraping for a dollar and dime just to pay for things like tuition and books and fees and housing, which is already covered in athlete scholarship. Not being able to afford things is a way of life in college, she says, which would justify the reasoning for not needing to give athletes a leg up with payments. In 2012, the NCAA's leadership was able to push through legislation to give universities an option to award multi-year scholarships to student athletes, which is different than the single-year contracts that is decided each year for players. What is needed, however, is national support from faculty and others to support this change. This change would allow student athletes to keep their scholarships they earned as a recruit and continue their education regardless of athletic performance or injury. What is in place now is that the coaches essentially have the ability to take their players off of scholarship if they do not live up to the recruited status. This multi-year scholarship also is important because it allows the players to be valued more as students earning an education over being an athlete, which is why it's important to know that a 4-year scholarship is greater than a 1-year scholarship. I propose that this new NCAA rule be passed and accepted through all universities who grant scholarships to their student athletes, along with some other provisions that are fair to student athletes. In addition to the reintroduction of multi-year scholarship, I believe that the popular athletes should be able to make a percentage of the profit from their likeliness in video games and merchandise sales. According to John Turbush of The Week, Texas A&M sold over $150,000 worth of Johnny Manziel number 2 jerseys in December 2013 alone. Manziel, despite gaining fame and recognition for this jersey, received none of the money from the sales. I'm proposing that student athletes receive a percentage of the sales from their merchandise, perhaps 10% in order to compensate them. Lastly, I believe it is important for student athletes to be able to have the opportunity to work and earn money to get a job. Because many schools' athletic programs do not allow their students to work, it is extremely difficult for students to go out and buy groceries and spend money on leisure time when they have the chance. By changing this rule to allow student athletes to work for those who want to work, student athletes can begin earning money in an NCAA legal way. Imagine a scene in universities across the country where student athletes who are offered scholarships from their achievements in high school are offered the same type of opportunity that many in the past received, to finish their college education through the scholarship regardless of the performance on the field. This would allow student athletes to continue their education valued as student first and athlete second, which is important for the large population of student athletes who do not end up going pro. In conclusion, it's simple to see that student athletes are treated unfairly when it comes to fair compensation, but the question lies in just how they should be compensated. The safest and easiest way to answer this question is for all parties to grant student athletes with multi-year scholarships so they have a surefire backup to finish their education if their athletic career does not pan out as hoped. In addition, popular players who likeliness and jersey sales make a profit should gather a small percentage since they are the individuals who essentially made the jersey given their performance. Please, let's all support the movement helping all student athletes, from football players and lacrosse players, acquire the compensation they deserve. Thank you. I'll open up a question and answer period. If anyone has a question, I'd be happy to answer. Yes?
What is the reason for the spike in Manziel jersey sales in December of 2013?
Well, that was the month that Johnny Manziel won the Heisman Trophy, which was a huge spike in sales for his jersey all across Texas A&M and really across the country. But those sales kind of just kept continuing to grow through the offseason as his off-field and off-season antics continue to grow. So that's why his jersey sales spiked. Are there any other questions? Yes.
For what you're saying, do you think this should be applied to all student athletes?
Yes and no. For the NCAA athletes, yes, it should be applied to football players, basketball players, soccer players. Should all get the multi-year scholarships, like I agree. However, this would not be applied, I think, to intramural teams or club teams or anything like that, or anything of the sort. And unless if a player is extremely popular that has several jersey sales or something like that, those should be the one getting the percentage through there. Are there any other questions? Thank you very much.